Damn it. Like every time something happens where I pull out some O line maneuver on someone, I feel like for a couple months, like I'm gonna go to jail. This one, I'm a security guard. Okay, I work at a country club, and my focus that I'm working on is this little paralegal and tech business. But with security, we do all these little things that have to do with parts of legal rules, and we have little bits of technology. So it pays the bills, and I'm working on my little self-employed thing. So I mean, I need my paycheck so I can keep doing my business project. Like most entrepreneurs who start a project, I haven't been very quick to give up. In fact, it's getting more complex. So I think it's going well. If I panic when something happens where I might have to switch jobs or something, this guy came up to the window and he snuck in and he was like on the inside of the country club, past the front gate. He was driving around on his bicycle. And it was an electric bike, and he couldn't find the place he's trying to go to. And we didn't see him drive in. And I saw it later on the video. He just like shot right through this little part of the gate arm that's like there's 3 feet between it and the sidewalk. And he came back and he's like asking me for directions to his friend's house. And he came from the inside. And I said, "Well, I don't even remember you going in. What address are you? What address are you going to?" He told me the address, and I saw him, and he was on that person's restricted list. So like, I don't know, it's double bad. Not seeing someone. He was dressed in all black. He just was like way off in the shadow. We're not exactly a surveillance business. We do entry point control. We're supposed to see people, but people can do things to sneak in, and um, that's just that. Well, so I said, "Well, sir, we have to ask you to leave the property," and I pointed out to the road, which is about 80 yards, 60 yards away. Um, 40 yards away. And he said, "No, no, call over there." I said, "No, sir, I have to ask you to leave the property." He starts yammering about something. He says, "I'm going in there." And he goes this way out towards the property, the exit, and around our gatehouse. And that's where the entrance is. Well, right away, I knew where he was going was that little up and down thing because we have bicyclists all types who try to do that. We have to deal with it in different ways. I've never dealt with it in this way though. Ran out the door, and instead of chasing him, I went the other way, wham, and got over in the gap. I played offensive line in high school, and I was an offensive line football coach, and I was a Marine. Um, Faster than I look like I'd be, but I ran like a 4.9 40 in high school. We had this thing called an alley peel back, where you go out and you come back in, and it's this thing where the middle linebacker's skating out and they don't see you, and you just like the point is to just knock them straight to the ground, right? Well, I didn't do that. I went like an alley peel back, but I stopped, and there was still like 25 feet between the guy and me. I got there first, but I was about 8 feet past the gate arm, and he was 20 feet on the other side. And I yelled really loud for him to stop. I thought he was going to stop. I did not. This was not me thinking I was about to get into a collision with a guy. Well, the guy's on an e-bike, and he hit the e-bike gas, and boom, came straight at me. So I took all right, I took just like boom, boom, like one, like two little position steps, and he flew off his bike, and that was it. I basically looked like I was standing there and axe murdered a guy off his bike, and then a big yelling match ensued, and then he went off the property. We got off the property and we called the police, and he said he was going to talk with the police about me, like I assaulted him to prevent a trespass, just standing there yelling and then like holding my ground. Um, Turns out the police took him over there, and then the guy told the police that he was living in this house with this person. His stuff was in there. He's like a homeless guy almost. One of our residents is an alcoholic who lives inside the place or something, or they smoke weed together, and he lets some bum stay there and try to kick him out. Well, the guy left some stuff in his house. Like these guys know squatters rules. So the police asked the resident to put him back on the list, so the resident put him back on the guest list. So it's this thing where ab initio, normally if you tell someone to leave and they don't, they're from the first moment they cross the line onto the property, they're trespassing, trespass ab initio. But ab initio could work the other way, where the moment he stepped onto the property, he was supposed to be on the guest list because he's technically by law a tenant, that the police are saying the resident has to now evict, which the HOA has rules where if you have a tenant, you're supposed to register them in the HOA office with the written contract, or they can't be a resident. They can be a permanent guest. And if they do have a bicycle, it's a thing where there's no parking issue. We don't really know who's in the house. It's the difference between the law that pertains to the rules an HOA can have, how trespass works, and then how the law of the land works for tenancy. But still, I was not expecting a guy to hit the gas and run into me. Then my instinct was just not. It was not at all to step out of the way, because when things are going fast and there's yelling, I'm only looking forward. I'm not looking anywhere else. So that's the thing I know I can do. Play shoulder. I weigh 295 pounds. I did weigh 285. I don't think it would matter that much if I had kept my weight down the last couple months. But even though the police came and they didn't say anything about either of us being an assault, I didn't push it because I saw the camera footage, and what it is, you see all these camera angles. I run out of every camera angle into this little black rectangle. You can't see it from any angle. And then the guy rides into it, and then boom, flies out one side of it. And then you just hear me yelling and him yelling, and then me overpowering him yelling, getting right in his face and making him walk out of the property. I had done that to another 300-pound dude though. It's not a joke when you get riled up like that. And the law is that you can prevent a trespass. It's just life's not all that wonderful enough not to just get in a confrontation, even though you can lose your job and lose your paycheck. It's weird. Out of nowhere, and I was all riled up. But so that was it. But somehow I'm just like, oh, like 10 days later, I'm like, nah. I guess nothing's gonna come of it. I hope it doesn't like elevate to some like lawsuit where I have to make a counter lawsuit and then bring all the video to court and lawyers. I think basically that the guy and I who had the collision though could potentially have a lawsuit against the tenant who put the other guy on the restricted list, because that's what caused this whole conflict. I don't know, the owner actually comes to us several times a week saying he thinks people are crawling in his walls and in his crawl space, and we have to like get up there and on a ladder and look and tell him no, it's fine, it's fine. And then one time he said there was somebody on the roof, and we told him call the police because they're trying to get into your house. We know he's just like having some type of 75, 80-year-old delusion. It's weird. There being a party scene in a 55 and up community country club. He doesn't seem like a real wobbly alcoholic, but the other guy reeked of alcohol. Like I could smell it because I was right inches away from his face. I was waiting for him to swing. I am glad he did not, because I would have swung back each time he swung. Each shot probably would have been one shot back, and then maybe that would have been it. Could have been way worse. I was actually getting close into his guard to hear and feel his arms if they move quickly for a weapon. There's no weapons involved. This guy's just a drunk idiot, and that's it. I haven't drank for almost 6 years. Doesn't mean I couldn't cross the line and this be somehow the other situation, but I do not feel that that's what it did. So, yeah, fun. Inching along on a paralegal business startup, right? Thinking about the law all the time. Like other people build a little more of a hedge, or the thing is maybe when it's cars, we get in the car right away and we chase the person in the house, but we leave it at a distance. We know where they're going and we sight them. This is a thing where I did not think he was gonna accelerate into me. So that's that. It's a good 10-minute video here for y'all about really out of the ordinary little occurrence at work.